From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, March the 15th, 2024. The Israeli man who was critically injured from stab wounds he sustained during a terror attack yesterday in southern Israel died from those injuries. 51-year-old Uri Moal was a senior non-commissioned officer in the IDF. He was attacked from behind by a terrorist who stabbed him in the back at a coffee shop at the Beit Kama junction just north of Beersheba. Moal, who struggled with the terrorist on the ground, managed to get up and shoot and kill the terrorist before collapsing. Reports today on what terror group Hamas is demanding in order to agree to a deal on the table that would see a pause in fighting in Gaza in exchange for the release of hostages now held for 160 days. Hamas presented a proposal to mediators and the U.S. that includes a first phase of hostage release of Israeli women, children, the elderly, and the ill, in exchange for between 700 and 1,000 Palestinian security prisoners to be let out of Israeli prisons, 100 of whom are said to be serving life sentences. It also includes a deadline for an Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said last night Hamas is continuing to hold to unrealistic demands, saying an update on the Hamas demands would be sent to the War Cabinet and Security Cabinet for discussion, with Israel also sending representatives to Qatar to continue talks. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, speaking today from Austria, was asked about the Hamas response and efforts to reach a deal.
Yes, there has been a counterproposal put forward by Hamas. I obviously can't get into the details of what that involves, but what I can tell you is we're working intensively with Israel, with Qatar, with Egypt, to bridge the remaining gaps and to try to reach an agreement. Israel has sent back a negotiating team to pursue this, and I think it reflects the sense both of possibility and of urgency to get an agreement, to get a ceasefire, to get the hostages back, to get even more humanitarian assistance in. This is something that we're committed to, and we will work as long and as hard as it takes to get it done.
The first Friday prayers for the holy Muslim month of Ramadan concluded today without incident, Israel police saying tens of thousands of worshippers concluded their afternoon prayers, while the Israel police, it said, is working to ensure a safe environment for all. Israel police cautioning the public not to buy into fake news they said is circulating on various social media platforms to the contrary. And we bring you more response now to the speech made yesterday by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, which included tough criticism of the Israeli government and Schumer urging new elections in Israel. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said on the Senate floor after Schumer's remarks, the Jewish state of Israel deserves an ally that acts like one. He said only Israel's citizens should have a say in who runs their government. This is the very definition of democracy and sovereignty. Either we respect their decisions or we disrespect their democracy. Jewish organizations weighed in as well. B'nai B'rith International wrote, "We are deeply troubled by Senator Schumer's call for new elections in Israel. Israel is a democratic state whose citizens choose their own leaders and decide their own fate." The American Jewish Committee said it appreciates Schumer's continual and passionate defense of Israel and the Jewish people, but it said we do not believe it is appropriate for U.S. officials to try to dictate the electoral future of any ally. Israel is a sovereign democracy in the midst of a war of self-defense against a terrorist organization bent on massacring Jews and destroying Israel. The Israeli people will decide their own political path. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, March the 15th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, Justin Pine speaks with fashion influencer Leandra Medine Cohen. At 9:30, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Rabbi Shlomo Brody about his book, Ethics of Our Fighters, A Jewish View on War and Morality. At 10, David Harris speaks with author-journalist Batya Ungar-Sargon about the world's response following the October 7th massacre and the rise of antisemitism. At 10:30, a replay from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, March the 15th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom. Am Yisrael Chai.